Bartholomew Bark McBarkington was no ordinary canine. He loved belly rubs, chasing squirrels and gourmet cooking shows. His human, Mr. Snugglesworth, was a kind soul with a penchant for burnt toast and takeaway dinners. Bark despaired at his human's culinary ineptitude. One day, Bark thought, I will cook him a meal fit for a king. Life with Mr. Snugglesworth was never dull. They went for walks in the park, played fetch, and Bark even learned to fetch Mr. Snugglesworth's slippers, though he secretly preferred chewing them. But Bark yearned for more. He craved the sizzle of a frying pan, the aroma of exotic spices, and the joy of presenting a delicious home-cooked meal to his beloved human. One sunny afternoon, opportunity knocked. Mr. Snugglesworth left for his weekly grocery run, leaving Bark home alone. This was his chance. Bark pushed a stool towards the counter with his nose. He hopped on, his tail wagging excitedly. First, the cookbook. He nudged it open with his nose, splattering the pages with drool. Spaghetti and meatballs it is. Flour flew everywhere as Bark attempted to measure it with his paws. Eggs landed on the floor, a casualty of his enthusiastic cracking technique. Tomato sauce splattered the walls, creating abstract canine art. The kitchen was a disaster zone, but Bark remained undeterred. After much trial and error, and a little help from his keen sense of smell, a steaming pot of spaghetti and surprisingly edible meatballs sat on the table. Bark, covered in culinary battle scars, wagged his tail proudly. He barked once, a dinner bell for his unsuspecting human. Mr. Snugglesworth walked in, his jaw dropping at the sight before him. The aroma of garlic and herbs filled the air, a stark contrast to the usual scent of burnt toast. He looked at Bark, then at the table, then back at Bark. A slow smile spread across his face. That night, Mr. Snugglesworth didn't scold Bark for the mess. Instead, he ruffled his fur and shared his dinner with his four-legged chef. It wasn't a Michelin star meal, but it was the most delicious thing either of them had ever tasted. As Mr. Snugglesworth drifted off to sleep that night, his heart full, he realized something important. Bark wasn't just his pet, he was his family. And sometimes the best meals were the ones made with love, laughter, and a little bit of dog hair.